In the winter of 2010, when the average high was 28 degrees and the low was just 14, a woman named Melody was volunteering with a local charity that donates food and essentials to the homeless population at Champaign-Urbana. One of the men she met at that time came looking for some supplies, and she noticed he had no gloves on. His hands were a pale white, and his fingers were showing the beginning signs of frostbite. Melanie was shocked to see that in a town as affluent as Champaign-Urbana, someone could be suffering from something so stoppable. That woman is Melanie Jackson, the first executive director and founder of See You at Home, who is one of the leading foundations, organizations serving the homeless population in our community right now. See You at Home is probably something we're all slightly aware of because the homeless population is something we are all slightly aware of. And See You at Home is working with and for those people to take them out of their steps of homelessness. My name is Abigail Johnson, and I have worked with See You at Home in their One Winter Night fundraising events in 2021 and 22. And I've been aware of them having lived here my whole life since they started in 2011. So for 12 years, they've been serving our community. In the theme of Speak for a Cause that we are speaking about today, I would like to speak for the cause of homelessness in general in the U.S., the work that See You at Home is doing to combat that in our community, and how we can help ourselves. But before I can talk about the help, I have to talk about the homelessness issue in our nation. Homelessness is a national issue that affects us at a personal level. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, in their 2022 report, over 580,000 individuals are homeless in the US as of January 2020, and that number has only gone up in the last couple years. The continuum of service providers to the homeless count different counties' numbers of homeless people year by year, and this last year they counted 2 different times in 2022 for Champaign County. The first count came out to 137 individuals. The second count came out to 194. That is an increase of 57 people in 2022 alone. Now that information was given to me by Rick, a ministry development associate at See You at Home, who also pointed me to a News Gazette story about one of those 194 people. Her name is Kayla, and before May of 2022, she had been a lifelong drug addict, gotten pregnant while homeless, was sent to jail for drug possession, and was separated from the 2-year-old twins that she had had while homeless. She had nowhere to go, no support, and no hope. That was before May of 2022, like I said, when See You at Home entered the picture in her life. But I want to take a pause on Kayla, and I want to look more at what See You at Home does for their community using some more concrete numbers. See You at Home helps our whole community through individual support of the people that they care for. They have housed roughly 1,000 men and 180 women since 2019 when they started year-round services in their overnight shelters. They have also served roughly 35 people a day at their daytime drop-in center since 2021 when they started counting. That's not even counting 2014 to 2021 and those years. If you're not good at numbers, like I'm not, then you might not have noticed, but that's 1,200 different instances of people using their overnight shelters in 4 years, and approximately 25,000 visits to their drop-in shelter in just 2 years. Rick said when he gave me those numbers that those may not be unique individuals for all of those visits, but to me, those staggering numbers show just how vital those services are to our community. On top of those services, though, they also provide advanced programs. They currently have 33 people in their advanced programs, giving them standalone shelter, education, advocacy, employment, and case management on an individual basis. On their website, under the section What We Do, they have a quote that says, "Shelter is a good start, but most people struggling with homelessness have underlying trauma that keeps them in a downward spiral. They need wraparound guidance to start to work on the issues preventing their progress. So we've looked at those facts and figures. Now I'd like to look at the folks that they've actually helped. One of those women is Marnetta, who came to CU at home seeking shelter and help with the barriers that she had in her life that she couldn't break through on her own. Through CU at home, she was able to get enrolled at Parkland. She found employment, and on the 29th of March, she actually graduated from her advanced program that she had at CU at home. And she now lives in her own house using donated goods from volunteers who moved those in for her as well. Kayla, who we looked at earlier, we left her in jail, separated from her children. She, in May 2022, was accepted into both the drug court program and one of the advanced programs that CU at Home provides. Through the partnership of those two programs, she was able to stay in a recovery house that CU at Home provided, and just recently she graduated from her drug court program with her case manager, Cedar, at her side. Now, they have helped our communities in so many ways, but now it's our turn to look at how we can help them. We can help them in a couple different ways, and they are honestly quite simple ways. One is just directly through money. 100% of the proceeds that they provide or that they receive, they give back into their organization and into giving living wages for their staff. They also ask that you can provide a meal for their people in their shelters. You can provide a meal of 16 for their men's shelter currently, or you can give a meal to their 8 women in their women's shelter. That can possibly homemade. It can also be a restaurant, which is another interesting way that you can use your money and your resources, but can give them something more tangible than just dollars. My personal favorite of the ways that you can support CU at Home is through One Winter Night, their annual fundraising event that raises both money and awareness of their services. During One Winter Night, which I slept in 2 different years, you sleep in a box in one of the most bitter, frigid nights of the year. I couldn't finish my last year because they wouldn't allow us, because it got down to -1 degrees in our box. And that was eye-opening to me, just how rough those situations are and how some people do not have a chance to just give up and go home when it gets too cold. That's one way that you can raise money and raise awareness, and I personally will join you if you want. So we've looked at the homelessness issue in the US. We've looked at how CU at Home combats that issue, how they have changed lives in our towns, and how we can get involved. So I hope if one thing sticks with you from this speech, it's that the next time you see someone sleeping on the street, maybe down on campus or in downtown Champaign, you will think of that person as a neighbor without an address. You will think of CU at Home, and you will use your voice and your actions to speak for their cause. Thank you.